Pan the fucking camera. Really pan it.
Trying to point onto my thing there.
Twist your melons, man.
Slayer! You got death metal, you got black metal, you got thrash metal. Is there anything more you need? Come on! Come on!
Well, Bloodstock Festival started in 2001, and it was basically a conversation I had with a friend of mine in a pub. We were talking about the lack of metal in the UK at that time, so we thought, why don't we make a festival? And after a few pints we said, yeah, it's a great idea, so that's what we did. We always thought it was going to be huge, but the reality kicks in about how much work you need to actually get it to where it needs to be. And it's a long process, and it's taken us, 17 years to get it to where we are now. Well, the Ram Gallery was an idea based on my anniversary with heavy metal, which was like 30 years. We started which was in 2014. I mean, I used to own a gallery years ago, and which was very successful. But I decided to stop that and continue on my own work. In 1984, I did my first album cover for Saxon. It seemed like a great time to have an anniversary on that, sort of 30 years later.
When you think of a music festival, all you generally think about is the music, But to have an actual art gallery on site, it's incredible. I mean, it's very unique. It's a unique thing to this very festival here that we have at Bloodstock.
I thought it was a brilliant idea because, most festivals don't have anything like this, and the covers and the artwork have everything to do with it too, so it'd be kind of weird not to include the two together.
The moment you enter this place, you just feel a bit disconnected from being in the middle of a field. Whenever people just come in here, you can see the reaction, you can see how stunned they are, especially by looking at Paul's stuff, because they're so grandiose and the scale is just something out of this world.
I mean, I remember buying album covers purely for the artwork before I even knew what the bands were, and I think that's not just me, that's pretty much everybody.
The art is every bit as important as the music, the detail, the emotional connection, exactly what you want from music comes as much from the artwork as from the music itself.
Well, I think people don't buy records anymore, so they don't get the thrill of seeing a front cover.
Yeah.
So when you go into a gallery, you kind of get that front cover thrill, where if you see a front cover, you don't know the band, you're going to buy it because you've seen the album art.
It gives another depth to the whole atmosphere of what you're experiencing, as well as
something else to love.
Yeah, it's part of the culture, so it's a really good thing to go out and check out these things when they're available, because otherwise they might disappear.
This year I've got Christian Sloan Hall, we've done artwork for Amon Amarth, and Amon Amarth obviously played the festival this year. I've got Eliran Kantor, he's done Testament and Hatebreed, playing the festival, which is great. Daniel P. Carter, BBC One presenter, but also a great artist in his own right. I've got Cynosure, who's done guitars now for the last 3 years for me. And they're beautiful pieces of work.
This was the guitar that I made for this year, designed around the logo of Saxon. This is kind of like themed after a Viking shield with kind of like a British heavy metal influence and attitude. We have the engraving of the Saxon logo here. This is their slogan. Denim and leather brought us together. All together.
Well, I've always been an artist, drawing and painting since I was a little kid. Always been a metalhead. So I've always wanted to kind of combine the two passions. Ended up working with Metal Hammer just by emailing the art director and sending him pictures of my work, and that started with that, and it's just been an avalanche since then.
I've got 5 of my pieces up on the exhibition. The festival bought it, and it's going to be on their permanent collection, and they're looking forward to having a permanent location as well where they will have all these pieces up. I've always been making pictures ever since I was just a kid, and when I grew up in my teen years, I got into the metal scene back in Israel when I used to live, and just started doing album covers for friends' bands. And it just rolled on from there. By word of mouth, bigger and bigger bands knew about me, saw my work online, and that's how I got into this point where I've been doing it full time for the last decade or so, with over 100 covers, but not counting really.
The music teaches people to paint and paint what they sing about, which means that it's absolutely awesome to come along to something such as this.
I think everybody should know where they came from. I think roots are important. I think metal in the Midlands has a reputation for forming a lot of the music around the world, and a lot of big bands refer back to the Midlands, refer back to the sort of thing that's on the walls in there, Motorhead, Saxon, those kind of people, and the relationship with even the fantasy art, with The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, is kind of something that's still endemic in the music now.
Digital has a good place, a good time, but will never overtake the art and the meaning behind the art that comes with some of the older, more pictorial representations.
I would actually go to a record store without knowing the band, look at the artwork and instantly know what that band is about. You know? And I'd still like to do that, go into a local record store and look at the artwork and go, that interests me, I'm going to buy it, without even hearing the band first, which is something quite awesome.
I think there's a huge resurgence of the connection between art and music. And I think vinyl's done that. I mean, the vinyl has come back huge, massively, And bands have always been, always had T-shirts done, posters. So it's never really gone away, but obviously it went away when vinyl stopped, being produced.
I grew up painting in oils like Paul, and I really wish I could do that again. But nobody wants to pay for it. The digital things become the industry standard, really. But what can you do? It is what it is.
There's just so much great stuff out there, but there's nothing like being up and close with the art. Well, I don't think it replaces it. It just makes up for a temporary solution because people come from all over the world for this festival, for other festivals, and they won't necessarily do it just to see art. And it's great that we have this kind of a venue inside a place where people come from all over the world. I know people who just save up money for months, for even years, only to come and see their favorite bands, and this is amazing that we get to be a part of it.
I think it's a wonderful thing to have, fans and kind of people that are just interested in your work. I think it's exceptionally important, because obviously with the advent of technology these days, we're able to reach out and to reach our favorite musicians, our favorite artists. I think we all, as artists, we all start out from not being known, but it's very important. It really is very important, because without Paul, for instance, without Bloodstock Festival, I wouldn't be here today.
Oh, it's amazing because I actually get to see that people really do appreciate it, and that's always nice, of course. And I've actually talked to a lot of people that knew my work but never knew there was an actual human being behind it.
You got that, and they could see the artwork and talk to the artist. Yeah, that's like really important. I think for both parties, because artists don't really have that opportunity normally. It's just a case they're in the studio doing the artwork and that's it. So when they actually come to the gallery, they can talk to the fans, and the fans love it.
Festival for families. It's grown over the years and it's in touch with its fans.
What's on display in here definitely does show that really well. I think it's fantastic. Anyone who comes to Bloodstock, the Ram Gallery was here last year. It'll probably be here next year as well. I'll take going and go see it. It's fucking amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
The kids have got something like this, the younger generation, but unless we keep coming, unless we keep supporting, unless we keep putting the money into these type of events, then they'll have nothing either. So it's important that they understand that, and in the future they keep it for future generations.
Oh, the album covers. Also, I was thinking of covers for.
Saw this match, it's really fucking good.
The artist of the band could be because he's seen as metal graffiti, who knows?
Your artwork is amazing.
Well then say it then.
I can't. Unbelievable, so.
Everybody.
Quick little Phil.
That's sexual.
Are we rolling?
Folks, my good friend Sean would be here right now. He'd be jumping out of his grave saying this was the best album that he ever seen in his life.
Yo, my obituary, cause of death. When you think about this artwork, there's only one thing you think about, being chopped in half. It's a cause of death. It's a way of life. And honestly, it is something...
Oh, boy, fuck yes! Fuck yes! What are we doing?
Great, really. As what they want.
Yeah, the naked bird with her boobs out. I love it. Yeah, me too.
I think it's really laid out really well. What do you think?
Yeah, very informative.
You see the eagle on your t-shirt, what do you think? Yeah, man, you immediately look at Slayer. And then you look at saying,
It's a good book. Probably should get it in the library. Or on your coffee book table.
Pantera.
Best band ever.
There's a cow with its ass gaping open.
It's fallen out.
Rock and metal art covers. You can't.
That's why people collect vinyls.
It's something, it grabs you, the artwork. It ain't just some bland piece of shit, is it? With somebody staring at the sky pouting and bollocks like that.
The book that I've been reading, And Justice for Art, serious about heavy metal covers, is the tagline. I've been very impressed. Some boss pitches here, I'm telling you. I mean, look at it. You've got a devil just pointing the finger thinking he is the man. Thank you very much. I've been Adam Westgate, and I'll be back to compare Bloodstock in 2018. And I wish to thank my host as well, who I'm sure can tell you who he is. So we've only just met.